It is important to have an understanding of the layout of the physical interface to WaveScaleMX. This entails things like knowing how many Pogo blocks per card are available, as well as knowing the available features of each WaveScaleMX Pogo. Having knowledge of these things makes debugging applications and designing DUT boards a lot easier. This module provides a walkthrough of that information along with detailed connection diagrams.
There are two cables available that route signals from the WaveScaleMX card to the Pogos. There's the standard high-density cable that you should use for new developments with WaveScaleMX. This cable connects a WaveScaleMX card to the two Pogo blocks A and B, with 16 differential signals per Pogo block. And there's the compatibility single-density cable, which is mainly used when transitioning applications from the AV8 family of cards. A WaveScaleMX card connects to 4 Pogo blocks, A, B, C and D, with 8 differential signals per Pogo block. On the next pages, we'll take a closer look at the properties of every cable. Here are the physical Pogo connections for the standard high-density cable. For simplicity, only Pogo connector A is shown. The layout of Pogo connector B for units 9 to 16 is accordingly. The unit block diagram is to remind you what X1, X2, X3, and X4 are. Why is 8 times 4 not at the lower right corner? This is because we want maximum ground shielding surrounding each Pogo. All Pogos currently have at least 3 sides surrounded by grounds. If these Pogos were in the right corner, they would only have 2 grounds surrounding them. Here are the physical Pogo connections for the standard high-density cable showing the internal loopback connections. Even though the loopback is internal, it is linked to the Pogos and signal names defined in the DUTboard file. Click the checkbox to turn loopback off and on. Here are the physical Pogo connections for the standard high-density cable showing the differential pairs. X1 and X2 form one differential pair, X3 and X4 the other one. The Pogo connections are identical to the digital HD Pogos but not compatible with the AV8 family of cards. For simplicity, only one Pogo block of the physical Pogo connections for the standard high-density cable is shown. The E7010F board supports digital and WaveScaleMX, whereas the E7010RF also supports WaveScaleRF8 in addition. As mentioned previously, the cross-connected pairs are X1/X3 and X2/X4, which you can see on the schematics if you hover over the blue information button. Here is an example of a standard, high-density Pogo layout for units 1 to 8, showing the Pogos relative to the unit block diagram. The highlight shows a Pogo in Pogo block number 323. By adding a value of 400 to the Pogo block number, you can calculate the channel number, which is 72,316 in this case. Note that only Pogo connector A is shown. If you now hover over the blue marker, you can compare the Pogo view side by side with the layout view. This code snippet shows an example entry for WaveScaleMX in the model file. The compatibility Pogo cable provides DUT board and Pogo compatibility for devices that use either high-speed or high-resolution cores. It is mainly used when transitioning applications from the AV8 family of cards to WaveScaleMX. The WaveScale compatibility standard density cable can be used in different configurations to adapt to the 3 WaveScaleMX card variants, which are either high-speed, high-resolution, or a combination of both. The WaveScaleMX compatibility standard density cable is compatible with the AV8 family of cards. One Pogo connector connects to 4 units, which can be either high-speed or high-resolution units or a combination of both. the schematic only shows connector A. It is important to note that one WaveScaleMX card can replace two AV8 cards. Here's the Pogo naming convention for the WaveScaleMX compatibility standard density cable. Notice that this cable only uses the inner rows of connections, consistent with all single-density Pogo blocks. If you now hover over the blue info button, you can compare the Pogo view side by side with the layout view to see the mapping to the channels X1, X2, X3 and X4. The code snippet shows an example entry for WaveScaleMX in the model file. These are the key things to remember from this module.